loving the energy where I'm at and loving that a dear friend let me use his office to do this show today, the Soul Food Book Club. And we are honoring our very own Sheri Myers. Sheri, hello and welcome.
Thank you. It's it's a great it's a great miracle, honor, and delight to be here and to be discussing the book with the Soul Food Book Club. It's just makes my life so wonderful, you
Well,
know.
you make my life wonderful, Sheri. You are a real gift to me. I love you so dearly and
Ah,
thank you. Thank you for
thank
this book. This,
ah,
this book is Too Late to Quit. The title says it all. It really is too late to quit. Yes,
thank
Jean, thank you
you.
for holding the book up. This is the book. And I think we could probably spend a year talking about this book. It's so deep and it has so much wonderful, wonderful stuff in it for us. And so, Jean Loriot and Christina, thank you for being here.
Thank you. Thank
Oh,
you.
so happy to see you both. Jean's in Texas and Christina is in Michigan. And Sheri, where are you right now? I know you were up in the New England area.
Right. I
You
just
still
got
there?
back yesterday from New Hampshire. We did my mom's interment
Mhm.
at the Kentucky Village Cemetery in Kentucky, New Hampshire, just 3 miles from our lake in town, as you would say, which is about the size, you know, I mean, honestly, it's like a movie set. And the leaves were changing. It was all so just exactly as my mother would have loved it. It was just, you know, fortunately, when we work with the angels, we get assurances and signals and knowings that it's just, what's going on is perfect and we're with you. And I think I appreciated that because, when you go back, well, who didn't Christina, didn't you lose your mom too? It's kind of when you go back and it's all of a sudden it's really hard all over again, you know? And I just didn't sometimes don't know how to deal with how hard it is because it shocks me. Because I think I'm better, right? And I had a dream. My mother loved dragonflies and painted them, and I had a dream, as you know, Terry.
I know I have one of those paintings on a card.
The night before her interment ceremony, I had a dream that a absolutely beautiful dragonfly came, very unique, came and sat. And I knew, it was, and I guess that can lead us into, what we're going to focus on this week because I'm so curious to know, Jean and Christina, when you have considered these pages that have to do about framing your big goal as a marathon, has it made an impact in any way?
I'm going to go a little bit on my past experience. So my background, have my husband who suffered a traumatic brain injury, a quite severe one, about a dozen years ago. And so I have, I realize what the difference is between thinking of things as a marathon versus a sprint. I have been living that for quite some time now. And it does change your frame of mind. You have to learn to take the really small things that come along as your and make them into very big victories. Um, you have to um, you have to remember to pace yourself. You have to remember that there's going to be some times that you're not going to feel like doing it. And you have to remember that a marathon, it's not just the marathon, it's the preparation for the marathon. Like I said, having the setbacks in order to get forward more, you know, and we're allowed to either learn from that and take it with us, or we can hurt ourselves again
Yeah.
and have to deal with it again.
Mhm.
You know, so anyways, that's how I feel. And excuse the road noise. I had to go to my front yard in order to escape wind. So
Beautiful.
yeah, but that,
Another
you know, so like I
time.
said, to me, it's a sprint. You think it's going to be all over with, and you don't prepare your mind for that. You don't prepare that this is going to be a long, enduring thing where you're going to have to push through when you get tired. And you're going to have to take care of yourself, or else you're never going to make it. So
Wow.
Beautiful.
Wow. That was and I just want to add one thing to that that I kind of gleaned from what you're talking about. And of course, with what I already get about you is you are no victim. There is no victim in that energy and in that experience and in that thinking.
it took me a while to get there, though.
Yes.
I, you know, believe me, I mean, hearing you talk about your grief, even though we know we have the angels with us, there is some downright hard things that we have to go through. And we may have times of breakdown, and that's okay too. We can still be, you know, I actually felt guilty about that for a minute,
Yeah.
as part of my process. Like I said, I've got a dozen years worth of what I can tell you I've gone through in state, you know, and I don't even want to say stages, because sometimes there's like a rollback almost. You have to take those 2 steps back in order to go forward at all, and that will keep reappearing. um so yeah, so I mean, like I said, I could have 12 years worth of discussion with you about how to do that and the mistakes that I made. I can tell you not from I can tell you what worked, and I can tell you far more about what did not work.
Mhm.
So
So if you actually did get a chance to write that down, in just in bullet points of like on the what a value that would be for people, because I really think we are, and there's a page in the book, and I don't know what page it is, but it's the page where somehow we're brought up to think somehow with the idea that life should be easy. And when it's not easy, it's wrong. And that's wrong. But maybe from commercials, maybe from TV shows. But Jean, tell me, is there a change in your perspective? And Teri, what about you? When you consider a sprint and you consider a marathon?
Yeah, it was definitely a big change for me. Uh, in a way, Christina has the experience that really uh, helps her understand about the marathon. I, of course, I've come out of an abusive relationship when I was small. I had my mother I had to take care of. I had my father-in-law that we had to take care of. And I've had all those things, but I hadn't learned from them as much as Christina has till I read your book.
Oh, wow.
Well, no, because I do tend to think of life in sprints. I'm an impatient person, you know,
Yeah.
and even you know, Teri knows this about me. Even with my finding my spirituality, I want it to be a sprint. I don't want it to be the marathon that it really is. And what Christine said is so true, that you're gonna progress and then you're gonna maybe have a letdown, you know. Well, my thinking has always been, no, you don't do that. you don't you don't have a letdown. but you do. And anyway, it's given me the perception that that in a way, all my life, I've looked at things. I mean, look at how old I am. I've looked at things as they have to happen now. You can't set a goal and then work towards it. Take your time, build up, whatever. So it really changed my perspective. It made me think a way different, and really has brought me joy in that thought, because now I don't feel the pressure of constantly having to, I used to say I'm a great starter, but a terrible finisher.
Sure.
And that's because I get impatient and I would quit. I can't tell you how many crafts
Sure.
or anything, even
Sure.
books that I've started to write and then just quit because it takes too long. So this has really been helpful, extremely helpful to me.
Right. And I did want to add one piece to that was that when the assignment, and it's a big assignment, but the assignment is to really download what's your 26.2. What is that endpoint that makes you think, I'll never get there? Because the dream is not impossible, right? If the goal is not impossible, then the prayer is incorrect. It's prayer that will get us over that marathon, over that finish line, because it feels so impossible. But prayer is the jet engine, I want to say, that is going to allow us to dynamically process ups and downs and challenges. And over to you, Teri, because of all the people I know, how, Teri, you have framed your breast cancer, your cancer, I mean, it was astonishing to me. So let's talk about that, will you?
Yeah. I'm going to piggyback on Jean just a little bit. My whole life, it's been instant gratification. I don't want to wait. I don't want to wait until that end point. I want to get there and not haven't really stopped and enjoyed the journey.
Yeah.
And I think when I was diagnosed with breast cancer last year, I wanted it taken care of like that. And I was talking to a friend yesterday about that very thing. And it's like when I sat down with the angels and I said, okay, I don't get it. What is this all about? What's going on here? I've lived my life in such a way that I've changed so many things. I changed my diet. I changed, my thoughts. I changed all this stuff. And now here's this big hurdle. And I got the message that it could go away like that. They could just take it. It would be gone. It wouldn't even be in existence anymore. Or I could do that marathon and get all of that experience. That was the purpose of it being there in the first place, for me to learn from, to grow from, to be that person that would be there for others who are going through a fire, no matter what it is. It doesn't have to be cancer, but others who are going through something huge in their life. I now know from the get-go what that feels like, to get something so huge come into your experience. And what do I do with this? And that was what I sat and talked with the angels about. And they were like, yeah, we could make it just go away. It doesn't have to be there, but it's up to you. Do you want that journey? Do you want to see every part of the journey, or just see the instant gratification of it going? And I think, Christina, you can probably relate to, if your husband had come out of that coma and everything was just great, there wouldn't be all that experience that you have learned with him of dealing with something that huge on that level.
No doubt. I'm still learning. You know what I mean? But the lessons that I learned were huge. Just really huge. But I also, again, want to say all of that impatience that you're talking, remember, I was forced into this situation quite unwillingly. You know what I mean? This was not, I had just the night before thought to myself, I am leading the perfect life that I had envisioned just the night before.
Oh my
And
God.
so it had taken me a lot to even get over the anger and distrust of how, I mean, because this was just so life changing on every level, from my mom to my own personal relationships to where we lived. You know, I mean, all of it was just upended. I mean, you hear about catastrophic accidents happening, and that is what we experienced. And it was really rough, and we had a lot of good luck on our way. So I won't not admit that, but I learned a lot. Like, I was just talking to somebody, when I donate food to the local food pantry, I donate the good stuff. Okay.
Right.
Not
Yes.
the cruddy stuff.
Mhm.
I got potted meat one day. That was what we got from them. And it wasn't even in a container that had a brand name in it. It was like potted meat with a black and white label. I opened it up. I mean, I had to take food from our local pantry. I had kids to feed. I had a husband that I was taking care of. And I opened up that can and literally gagged. And I promised myself that the day that I got myself out of this situation and I was able to give back, that I would never do that to somebody. I just won't do it. I was thankful that somebody was nice enough to give food, but that, you know what I mean? It just,
Yeah.
if I had not had that experience, I might not even know that people were giving away stuff like that.
Mhm.
And you know, I just want to say it's just so important. That is that actually, I hope someday soon you write about it before Thanksgiving, especially because when people give food, give, do a turkey, give a turkey. I mean, like, think, because you live that. And so many of us who are in this particular, I would say, okay, I will say, I would not know that. I would not know that. And my dear friend who lives here, we're having a little bit of a competition in terms of, like, it was like the crisis competition is like, how bad do things look for you, or how bad is your news? And you know, she was playing her drug addicted daughter released from rehab, lost everything in the fire, living with her mother who's dying, and the hurricane is coming. And I was playing my husband has prostate cancer, my mother just died, and the hurricane is coming. We have those, like, this is big and that is big and that is big, and we can create so much more respect for what somebody is going through. And Teri, about, I mean, going through the what you had to go through with your breast cancer study, that's massive. The compassion that people know you understand that. And that's why part of my book is to say, you have no idea what kind of value. I'm getting so excited, but you have no kind of idea what kind of value you're creating by being you and sharing your understanding and your light to people from your heart, from your experience. I mean, I was able to share about my mom, thanks, and Teri was able to share about my mom with her group, and all of that, I'm telling you, it affected my mother most of all, my family, their friends, my Facebook friends, friends of my Facebook friends, who all were able to share in this woman's, and you know, her art, you know, having first her very first her very first solo art show at the age of 92. People could, oh my God, they could come and get in. And then she was in hospice and she passed away, but because of my being willing to share, which I would never want to do. Believe me, I don't want to do that. But that's what I have.
Exactly. And Sheri, I've said this many times, you can't be taught this stuff. You have to experience it. So when the angels presented to me, this could be gone like that. You don't have to go through that horrible experience. It's up to you. And I had to really sit with that. I really did. I'm like, wow, okay, that's quite a choice to make. But then when they showed me the big picture, those people that are going through it every day, just like people we know that are losing loved ones every day. And who do they turn to? They need somebody like you, Sheri, that says, I walked through it with my mother. I was right there through that whole experience, and I can share all that emotional stuff. And that's where it's at, is that emotional, mental part of us that has to deal with the fires of life. And once you've been through that fire, it's like nobody can tell you what that's like. You have to be there in that fire. So,
Sheri, I'd just like to tell you I'm months into it now. I'm not into a year yet. Um, it comes in waves. It really, truly does. Just this morning, I didn't have a breakdown, but I had tears coming down my face because I found something of my mom's, and it's just, but it is true. And I know you already know it will get better with time. I know it never totally goes away, but I smile more than cry now. And so I take that as a victory, but it'll come. And don't be too surprised by it, I guess is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
No matter how enlightened I am, or how many times my angels have talked to me to let me know that they're there, there are still times, that, like I said this morning, I had tears running down my cheek, and I got over it, but it'll happen. And so please be okay with that and let it happen. I think is the better way to do it than not let it happen.
Oh, I agree.
And let it happen with no judgment. That's the point, is no judgment.
I like to, if I tear up, because there's lots of things in New Hampshire when we went to the service, of course. In fact, I got to play, my mother was, she had the Apache prayer, and it was called the Apache blessing. And it's about the moon and the sun and in the seasons. And I mean, here's this little New England lady, who is like basically Episcopalian, but her credo, really, her theme was the Apache prayer. And it was so singular to her attachment to the trees and the lakes and the mountain. And she loved the land. She was a painter. So walking in beauty was really her ambition, and it was her theme, to look for the beauty and to express the beauty. And we had a recording of, I interviewed my mom on Mother's Day, before Mother's Day, and when we previewed the book and the book debut launched, and I have my mother reciting the Apache prayer, and we took it and we played it at her interment. And it was so, again, it was, if we take that time, if we know, I mean, we don't know exactly how does this fit in the overall picture, but if our theme is to express beauty, or our theme, like Teri, to express love, your theme is to, I mean, that's how that's your marathon, that's your special gift, I think. For me, it might be my sense of humor. I don't know exactly. And also, I never give up. I mean, I'm extremely persistent. I want to talk about this concept of those moments when you don't want to do the thing, that you have to do. Because with the marathon, I mean, I don't want to be too didactic and make saying, oh, you have to do it this way, but it really helps for me when with our impossible dream of, producing a really wonderful movie, which is pretty much impossible on a lot of, and now with my, we things to COVID and things in the movie business shutting down for a while, and then my mom, and then now my husband's treatment, those things. And as we're talking about it, it helps me to remember that those tests, they're tests. It may be, like in running terms, it may be you blew your knee out, but you're getting back on the track. And not that we leave that behind, but we've strengthened ourselves through that challenge. You would not have that confidence. You would not have that boldness. I would not, if I did not have those things that I actually got through. And they were that hard. And Christine, I mean, we all have these like these moments where it's like, I cannot do this.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where I feel if we have our angels with us, if we have our guides with it, if we can pray, if we can ask, Lord, pick up my feet and I'll put them down, And I think the marathon for me, so glad I did something that was so strenuous, because it was such a physical and mental challenge that I just needed to pull myself back into what I believed I was capable of doing, and that had to have that structure. So I'm curious if you all have thought about what is the impossible dream that comes to mind when we talk about it in the book, out of the, and on the worksheet. What is your impossible dream?
Well, Sheri, I think all of you know what mine is.
No, what is it?
And, well, it's to bring peace into the world, was to have peace on earth. And this journey that I'm on right now, it's the Peace on Earth tour. And I said to my friend John yesterday, if I were to stop and think about what I'm doing from the ego point of view, I'd be scared to death. I would be shaking like, seriously, I'm going to go out on the road all alone by myself, facing whatever the unknown is out there, and going into different parts of the country to do what I'm doing. That I had to get beyond that. I had to go on faith, totally on faith and trust. And it can't be a sprint. It's the long haul. I don't know how long this is going to be. I don't know when my 26 miles is going to end. Right now, it's over 3,000. So, so I have no clue. But if I were to just really stop and look at what I'm doing, and some of my family is doing that now, they're like, you're crazy. It would be that thought process of it's impossible. It's impossible to do. But I know that the angels guided this. They set it up, and I'm like, all right, this is what is supposed to be, this mission that I'm on, this at this point in my life, I'm all in. Mm-hmm. And once I said that, once I told them, okay, I'm all in, you have to make it happen. Because from the human point of view, this would be crazy to come up with a plan like this and to do it, to actually follow through and do it. But as soon as I let go and say, okay, just guide me, just show me where to go, show me where to show up, put the people there that are going to be there for me and support it. And everybody has. Everything is falling into place. Everything is working perfectly, as our Marietta reminds us every day. And it doesn't even feel like a marathon, Sheri. It feels like I just started, but at the same time, like I've already done a huge part of it because of the places I've been. But it's effortless. It
Mm-hmm.
really is effortless to do this.
Mm-hmm.
And that's because I let go of all the limitations. I don't try to control anything.
Uh-huh.
Just put one foot in front of the other and go 1 mile after another down the road.
Mm-hmm.
And that's, to me, it's a blessing to just be on this journey. It is really a blessing in my life.
And I think that when you say peace on earth, I think it always just occurred to me it's heaven on earth, and heaven on earth is an earth full of earth angels.
Yes.
And I don't know what the quota means. If you need 25% of the people to be earth angels for everything to change, but all of the light workers who know they are light workers and know they are here for something, know they are here for peace on earth, to bring it.
Yeah.
And how you bring it how you can. And but you live peace on earth, Teri.
Right. Right.
And the marathon, there's a great coaching I got from someone when I was setting up our film company here in New Orleans. It's a little bit appropriate to what you're saying, Teri, because you have already acknowledged and you've formed this partnership. You have your A team right there all the
Yeah.
time. And hopefully, I will get better too at intuiting this is what the day's work, this is how to do the day's work, this
Mhm.
is the way to go. And it gets better and better for me. I still have a list, but sometimes things fall off the list and things pop on the list. And it's like, oh, yeah, okay, that's great. Because it's, whoa, this is happening, functioning better. There's a business, my business advisor said, I was talking about a mistake we made. And he said, no. He said, think about it this way. If you hop on a plane in LA and you're going to fly to Honolulu, it is not a straight course. It is a series of corrections. And that is anticipated. It's never not. You don't do that. That doesn't even happen physically. So if this series of corrections is like, that's not a mistake, that's a correction. I mean, that was like we did the best we could at that moment. And now we get to try a little bit this way or work it a little bit this way or frame it better or just because it's all about who we are when we are in the journey. Are we resilient? Are we able to call on our inner power? Are we, and here's a big one, are we able to ask for help from other people? You know, who's on your team? Who knows about your marathon? Who knows about this great big impossible dream? And I do want to say that, with Teri and her impossible dream and her courageous, just bold, like, here I am, it's on the side of my car, and magic and miracles are happening. That inspires us. Because it's like, what? Did sound a little bit crazy, but crazy great. And when somebody does crazy great, you go, I thought about doing crazy great, but I don't know. But now we can take a lesson from your book. Yeah. Jean, what about you?
Well, I think that my impossible dream has always been to love everybody, to put love in the world. I, from the hurt of my past, in my childhood, I think that it's always been my dream to just love and to love purely and completely and with compassion and empathy and seeing no difference from, because we're all perfect souls, not seeing any difference. And it's not like that's a sudden thing. That's been ever since I matured. And the thing is that it hadn't occurred to me that I could work on that. I mean, you think, okay, I love everybody and I'm trying to love everybody. And I really have in my own way tried always to be kind and to be accepting and to, everybody that I ever come in touch with. And I think I realized it more when I started working at the Lacan, which you don't know what that is, but I was working at a Buddhist temple for a country called Bhutan. And it really wasn't working. I was volunteering. But anyway, people from all over the world would come in there. And I just connected with everybody. It was just, I just loved all of them that came in. And so even though I'd been trying, I think, to live my life in that pattern, it didn't occur to me that I could maybe learn how to heal, learn how to help with the healing, learn how to read cards, learn how to improve, to use the angels, to use, I always knew they were there, but I didn't think of them as partners. I don't know, that sounds awful, but it's the truth. And think about the well, just everything that the divine spirit and the universe has provided us to actually be that way. That's what they want. To me, there's only one rule in the whole universe, and that's love.
Mm-hmm.
That's right.
That's all we need is love. If we have love, everything else is fixed.
Mm-hmm.
Everything else is in place. And so it's been a real excitement on my journey to find out that I can do more things than what, just being loving is not enough. You can actually help more people. And, I guess I think I told Teri one time that I want to be Kuan Yin. That's my goal, is I want to be her in her purity of loving and caring and empathy and compassion. That's, that's my path, as crazy as that sounds. That is what I choose to be. And
I would add perhaps the one piece that I think that you're realizing is that with reading and with learning in healing is the path of service and the doing, because when I think that light workers and people have been developing themselves for quite a while now, and it has to, doesn't have to, but I believe, and the book is about taking action.
mhm, exactly.
Based on the goodness that you want to, in the godness you have to express. And the power of love, Jean, is what I think you're talking about too, and becoming an instrument of love, a stand for love too, no matter what.
And I always, it's like I always knew there had to be more.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's like when this just all started for me, not even a year ago, that it was really just mind blowing, to me. And you're right. That's what it is that you realize you can be of service, that you can do more than just being a good person or whatever, that you need to have enough compassion to help, to go along with doing things like Teri's doing. And it's hard for me to explain, but I understand what I mean.
Well,
So,
most importantly,
well, even I have to tell you, even helping you with this book is like, oh, I have an opportunity to help you maybe a little bit with this book. And that's a gift I can give. That's something I can do that might help,
Mhm. That's
So,
right. Thank you.
yeah,
Absolutely.
finding places like that where I can
Mhm.
service,
Mhm.
So,
Mhm. Oh, thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome.
We have a I have a I have a question. Would one of you like to read page 10? It's about commitment.
Page 10.
Jean?
Okay. Sure. Where it says Marty, my therapist.
Yep.
Okay. Marty, my therapist, and I were talking about this training for a marathon that I was putting myself through, and how I realized that if I slacked off on a training run, then I would be losing ground. In my plan, my dream, my hope to make it over that 26.2 miles finish line. The next run, I would be compensating, not actually improving. He nodded wisely. So it all matters. Trying our best makes it easier in the long run.
Yeah. So do we know when we're trying our best? Do we have a gauge in here which is like, well, you're not really committing to this? You know?
You too.
Anybody?
Yeah.
Yeah. Can you feel it? If
I
you if you're present or not present, or trying and not trying, or because there is I mean, I'm going to just talk about running, but I mean everything actually, obviously, that the energy that it takes to do something well and at our edge. I mean, at our edge, because the marathon is you're pushing yourself so you can become somebody who runs 26.2. So, what if you're learning healing? What if you're learning something and you go, well, today I don't feel like it? Okay, you just don't feel like it, so you don't do it. So you just you're not moving. And you might actually be backsliding a little because it is a tune up. It is tuning in. It is so that kind of inner commitment. And I think with running, especially when you know it's going to be like, I don't really want to do this today. Um, Christina, you referred to this. There is a moment where you have to force yourself. You have to take yourself and you have to say, yeah, I hear you, and we're doing it. Yeah, I hear you, and we're gonna do it. So then it becomes easier and easier when that voice starts saying, man, I said, no, we're gonna do this. So let's just do it. I get better at that, not putting things off, not procrastinating. And I learned that through watching Karen Palmer. Right, Teri?
Yes,
Karen has no resistance.
right.
Doesn't it doesn't things don't get complicated, well, and it just okay, let's do this now. Boom. Teri, I see that with you. It's like, okay, I'm committed. I'm doing this. And it gets done. And that's when it happens between people is a huge gift because how many times are we working with people who are like, it's like, I don't feel like it today, or
Think
I'll get
about
back.
it.
Oh,
Yeah.
I didn't, it's, all of that is like, oh, really? Can we?
Yeah. There's those that are like, oh, let me think about that. Let
Yep.
me chew on it for a bit, which is good because you're not being impulsive. But at the same time, once you make that commitment, once I make that commitment, there's no turning back. It's like, okay, I'm doing this,
Mm-hmm.
this
Right.
is going forward. Or stopping a bad habit is another one. I'm stopping this now. I'm done. I'm done. That's it.
Mhm.
And it's that moment when you like flip that light switch and you're either all in or you've stopped doing something that's not for your best and highest good. It's that moment of change.
Yeah,
That's what it's all about, is the change that's getting ready to take place.
that's beautifully expressed. The moment of change, the moment when our maybe our better instinct, our higher power, the self our future self. I always love that image of our future self saying, "Hey, you can do this. Hey, you get this. You don't smoke anymore. Oh, hey, you exercise every day. Hey, no, that's what you do." Now, part of my, I'm old, you see, so I do have to work out a lot. I have a very high bar since I did that run. See, I was 48. I gave myself 48, had not been running much since I was, and I had to do something that was physically difficult that forced me to gain back in my vitality, my fitness, because, it was not going to be good news if I kept doing what I was doing and not doing the things that were good for me. So I needed that huge goal to get me to face up to and get it together. Yeah, basically get it together. And yeah, I did stop smoking. I did, there are things I did. I stopped drinking as much. I drank a little beer on the weekend. I just didn't realize I had to get up and I had to pay. I had the consequences, and I am really of the feeling that when we look at our marathon and we figure in that our part of our marathon is becoming as fit and healthy as we possibly can, and to put that right in front, of everything else that we do too, that's the track, that's the other angels fit, whatever that is for me has to involve my level of fitness and just, because I still have to get there. I still have this. And it's such a kind of a goal is that, the great thing about when you get the money and you get to make the movie, making the movie is a huge marathon. And you're a producer and you're up on your feet 14 hours a day. And you have to, you have to be on it, you have to be sharp. I have to have that kind of vitality. So I have to actually be more fit.
Right. And I have to tell you, Sheri, this journey that I'm on involves a lot of sitting for hours and hours in the car.
Yeah.
And I think every place that I have been, there have been stairs to climb. These angels have such a sense of humor. They're like, okay, we got to get you moving now. We got to get that blood flow.
Yeah.
So that they're taking care of that part for me. So it's like, yeah, you're going to have that moment when you're going to be moving constantly and up and down stairs and, walking up mountains and all that type of stuff. So
Mm-hmm.
they do. Once we hand it over to them, they're going to put things out there for us to help us along the journey. Whatever that journey is for you, it's going to show up.
Mm-hmm.
I love how they do that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I do too.
We
I
have people on with us
Oh, we
virtually.
do.
We certainly do. I want to say hello to them. Sheri is here, and Sheri says, I am always connected with angels, and she's sending gratitude to all of us. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Sheri.
Kennedy says hello. Diane Deagle says, I start my day feeling like I can't do it, then Source shakes me up to face the day. I love that.
Beautiful.
Diane also said, Jean, you explained myself completely. I am on that journey. So great to better understand myself.
Mm,
Thank you. Wonderful.
Yeah,
that's
you
really
really did. You explained that very well, and thank you for doing that. And Diane also said that, when we were talking about committing and letting the journey open up for us, she says, that is called getting out of your own way.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
That's a big thing.
Right.
Can I say something, Sheri? Because
Sure.
you
You don't
know,
have to ask permission.
when I do these things, sometimes I like to say that the angels make me do it. And I'm not sure if they're behind this, but I'm gonna say it anyway. The one thing I was gonna ask you is reading your questions for your book that you sent us this last time.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm a teacher, so you're getting this from that area of my brain.
Sure.
And you may not want to listen to it because it'd be totally worthless. But anyway, you ask a lot of questions with what?
Yes.
And as a teacher, what is kind of a factual question?
Mm-hmm.
Now, I don't know which way you're going with this, with your story and your book, but like, for instance, the very first one where you say, what is the difference between regarding your goal as a marathon and not as a sprint? I was wondering if we would get more thought if we asked why rather than what.
We
Why,
certainly can.
excuse me?
Yeah, I think that's a good.
Why would you want to regard reaching your goal as a marathon rather than a sprint?
That's beautiful.
You see, because that
Yeah.
causes you to think in a different way. The other way, they're putting down facts, they're
Yep.
listing, and they could do
Yeah.
that. They may come to the conclusion they'd rather do it as a sprint. But what you're doing by asking why is you're showing that is the proper answer. So why would you? So now they have to think about, why is it? Yes, why is it more like a marathon? You have to come up with the reasons that we've been talking about the milestones and the patience.
Mm-hmm.
So that's just one of the suggestions I wanted to tell you to ask you about.
So much.
Because a lot of the questions, if you asked them in a higher order thinking,
Okay.
than just a factual way,
Mm-hmm.
I think it would lead them more into the interior of thinking, yes, why? Why should I? How can I do this? I don't know if you can.
That's a wonderful, wonderful suggestion.
Okay.
If you have any that you've already rewritten for me, send them.
Okay.
I understand from your example exactly what you're talking about, and I think that's
Okay.
really helpful.
Okay, good.
Absolutely. That's why you're here.
Yeah. Well,
I'm not an English teacher.
We learn to rephrase things to get them, because, kids can learn facts and they can spit them out, and that's great.
Mm-hmm.
But that's not helping their thinking and reasoning process.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I was wanting to bring that up. For some reason, I felt like it was so important. So I'm sorry.
Very important.
Okay. Uh-oh.
Jean, I bet you were an amazing teacher.
Yes.
I can just see that. I wish I'd had such caring teachers that really wanted us to comprehend things. I really,
and believe in people.
Yeah.
Like your belief in someone else is contagious.
Yeah.
You give a lift to anyone. Like I had to sit. I'm sorry, Sheri. I'm not
Why?
sure. I'm sorry because I don't know what you said after Dean spoke for about 30 seconds to a minute. Because every time Jean says something, I just bask in a glow of whatever is Jean. I mean, I had to sit there and just go,
Mm-hmm.
so
Mm-hmm.
Jean, because I skipped the question on your worksheet because I didn't know exactly where to go with it. And
Great.
I
There you go. There you
go
go.
there,
Isn't that
she
helpful?
just, mhm.
Yeah, that's very, very helpful. Thank you, Jean. I
You're
would like
welcome. You're
to
welcome.
just a small rule. Anyone who apologizes
It's paid
owes me
$20.
$5.
I
That's
know.
right.
You
We
owe me
both owe her
$5.
$20.
No
No
apologizing.
apologizing.
And the other
That's
day,
it. No, I'm sorry.
I messaged Lily and I said, "Oh, Lily, I'm so sorry I missed your show." And then I said, "Oops, don't tell Teri I said that." I have to pay her
$5. And that goes towards your India trip.
Oh, I thought it was 20. Is it only 5?
Well, I think it's 20 for you today because
Oh,
you were apologizing every time you were giving me the brilliant advice. So thank you though. And yeah, Christina, we want reflective.
Thank you. Because, Christina, that was so sweet what you said. So thank you.
Yeah. Yay.
Let's come off this program feeling so full. I don't know. I do.
Really.
It's feeding our soul. That's why we called it Soul Food Book Club.
Mm-hmm.
Because having these discussions is so important. We can read a book on our own and we can get a lot out of it. But when we say to each other, "Did you get that?" Or "What did that mean to you?" We're sharing from our soul level. And I love it. Sheri, I am just so honored that you are doing this with us. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Oh, you're so welcome. And I'm grateful. That's what I am. I'm grateful. I'm excited, and I'm taking these notes and your brilliant ideas, and it's going to be a really just going to be a reflective workbook. And the part of me that's the coach has to remember that it's about the process too, that the thinking and the feeling process, because I'm a very doing person. So honestly, girls, gals, sweetie, this is a gift. Thank you.
And guys, we have Robert Pangley watching with us.
Do we?
Hi.
Yeah, it's a journey and I love it. And Sheri, that's for you. I'm so grateful for you.
I love that. Thank you. Thank you. I'm grateful for you, Teri.
And these are going all around the country with me, being passed out all over the place. And Ken just gave me a whole bunch of these cards.
Yeah.
I've got mine right here.
Wow.
So we're going to be grateful and we're going to keep smiling.
Beautiful.
What a blessing this day has been. And just being here with all of you, those of you that are on the Zoom meeting, those of you who are watching and piping in from the audience. I love it. I love it. And you can be here with us every week. The link is in the book. The link is in the group, Soul Food Book Club. Come join the book club if you're not in there. Just jump in there and just study with us these wonderful, amazing books that we've been in. And this one especially is soul touching us on such a soul level. Can you hold it up, Jean? It's Too Late to Quit by Sheri Myers. You can find this book on Amazon or you can contact
right side up?
They want an author sign one.
It looks it looks backwards to me on my screen.
Oh, it's
Oh,
the
you're
right way.
good. You're good.
Okay, good.
Thank you. Thank you, Jerry. Thank you, everybody. Thank you.
Oh, so much love for you, Sheri, and so much gratitude to the angels for guiding you to put this together.
Sure.
And it's just perfect. It's just perfect. And I know I've talked to many people, they're like, they open the book and they're like, what, this isn't like your normal book. And it isn't. You're like me. There's nothing normal about it, right?
No, isn't it wonderful that when we actually allow our, it's from a different experience when you're creating from trust,
Exactly.
you know, which is what I did, you know, like that. It got to be my experience, and this helps me enormously to be able to talk about it and go back,
Yeah.
you know. So
It's
often we can create things, and then, Jean, I'm very impatient. It's like not a bestseller, or whatever, it's just kind of, let's not give up on the projects that we have, because it's our process,
That's right.
not our, yeah. So
Absolutely.
thank you.
And Diane says she loved this show and so grateful for this. Diane, we're grateful for you being with
Thank
us
you.
today and all of you that tuned in. This hour has flown by,
Yep.
and I'm going to have to get back in my angel mobile so I can start heading toward Colorado. That's the next stop in my journey. Unless somebody says, I'm in between here and there, so come see me. And it may make that left or right turn. But Colorado will be the next place that I will be for a little bit and do another land blessing there. There may be one here in Maryland. I'm not sure yet because I'm hearing from a couple of different people about a place to go where 3 states converge.
Oh,
And
Nice.
so I'm going to drive that way and just see if the angels say, stop the car and let's do this. If they do, I will give you a little warning and then I'll get out and do the land blessing there. But otherwise, it'll be all the way out. I think St. Louis is going to get one. I'm hearing that. So St. Louis and then Colorado. But I must get on my way, and we have used up all of our hour.
Thank you.
Sheri, were there more questions on that worksheet that we didn't get to cover today?
Oh, well, we didn't specifically cover, but we talked about a lot of these things.
Okay.
Yeah. How do you ask for help? All of those things that are on the worksheet, and Jean and I will be in touch. So, and you'll let me know if we're going to continue, because if we are, great, and if we're not, that's fine too. But I want to
Let's
thank
do it
everyone.
for another week and see.
Do one more week.
I love it myself. I love the questioning and really getting into this whole concept of running the marathon. That's what we're doing. We're all doing that. It's called life. We're all in it.
Yeah.
So yeah, let's do it again next week, same time. If any of you that are watching in the audience want to come on with us and hold this discussion, please do so.
Oh, please. Yeah.
And I encourage you, if you don't have the book yet, to get a copy. And Sheri, the worksheets are in the group, correct? You have that link in the, or that
Always.
worksheet.
Jean, if you don't mind, I might run my questions by you for next week.
no problem.
Oh, thank you. I so appreciate that. And apropos of that, I really next week really want to focus on our team building, like conscious team building for our marathons. Just who there might be something to talk about that. Certainly we have our, they're where's our team?
Right.
Who we count on.
Awesome. I can't wait to be with
that on here too. So yeah.
Jean and Sheri, I'm going to be with you both at the same time. I'm just going to be in heaven.
I know. And we'll get those dates together. At some point, doesn't matter. I'll be there.
Yes.
Good.
And Christina, if you want to come and meet up with us, come on out to El
Oh
Paso,
man, it's
Texas.
so tempting, but I don't.
Paso.
I don't know if I'm ready to jump on an airplane quite yet.
Yeah,
You know, I just am not sure. There's,
I get it.
yeah.
It has to, you have to be okay with it. I've flown
Yeah.
a bunch of times because
Have you?
I was
You
in,
have.
I was
Yeah.
in
You
New
had to
Hampshire.
get back and forth, sure.
And when lockdown, I flew I flew in April when everything was on lockdown.
Okay.
7 people on the plane. I only
Yeah.
fly Southwest. Only fly Southwest because they keep the middle seat open and they have great protocol.
Right.
Oh, not okay. See, because
Yeah.
I've been seeing horror pictures online of people like full flights and things
No.
like that. And I'm like, oh man, I do not want to do that.
No, you don't want to do that.
Don't,
But I
yeah,
know there
I
are the
wouldn't do
airlines
that.
that are honoring it and being very cautious. So, and that's the thing with this trip too. I was talking with my friend Ken about that today. I'm taking every caution. You know, I'm using the hand sanitizer. I'm using the mask. You know, staying the social distancing. So
You're not going around crowds. You're not in an airplane. You're driving yourself in a car. I mean, yeah, like if I could just jump in a car and just drive down to, I don't even, Louisiana and Texas, where are you guys meeting up?
El Paso, Texas.
Oh,
You are going to Texas. All right, you know what? I will though check to see how far away a Southwest airline is to.
actually, I think El Paso's a hub for Southwest.
It might be. I mean,
And
There you go.
it would be more of an issue of where I'd have to pick one up here.
oh,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah,
right,
yeah.
right.
Yeah,
Well, if
Terry,
the
so we'll
angels
be
say
confirmed.
go, then you will go.
Oh, no doubt. No doubt.
Yeah. And Terry, it's good for you to stay north on this trip because of the hurricanes and the tropical storms that
Mhm.
keep popping up.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I would have you here in New Orleans because we would be great. For you to
Well,
come.
maybe on the return trip, Sheri,
Okay.
I'll be making a U-turn in California.
Okay. Yep. You can hit us on the way
After I
back.
get to
We'll
Mount
be-
Shasta, that's going to be a destination.
That's where we all should meet. Is that
We all should meet in
yes.
Shasta.
Oh,
And my
it's-
friend Ken Roshan, whose office I am so grateful that he's letting me use today to do this
Yes.
broadcast, he wants, when I come back to the East Coast, he wants to have a gathering, an angel gathering, and process the trip. And anybody that I've met along the way, you're all welcome. You'll be part of that gathering. So we'll have it all put out there ahead of time. Ken is going to do a book about the trip.
Mhm.
He has many, many, many books that he has published. So that's going to be one of the books. Keep smiling. Keep smiling. Keep smiling and journey on.
That's brilliant, Terry. It's just brilliant. It feels so good and it's so
It
neat.
does.
Healing,
But I think on the-
healing.
Yeah, I think on the way back, Louisiana is going to be one of those places that gets a land blessing.
So Terry, you're gonna understand this, but all right, so you know my two angels. She's met my two, or two of the many, but they're jokesters. So somebody just sent me that message again of that image of that stream when you said Mount Shasta, and to look for the floating hat
The
for
floating
your
hat.
internet. I don't know why they keep talking about this internet of all things.
There's going to be a floating hat at Mount Shasta. I
There's
have no
something where
idea.
she can get if she needs internet connection while she's near that she's supposed to
Oh.
go someplace with a floating hat.
Floating hat.
That's
Yeah.
because they keep showing me a string with
Right.
a floating hat going down it. I
I
don't know
need
what
to
it
check it out.
means.
I don't either, but I know
But
I
they-
will.
Did it again.
Okay, angels, thank you so much for that message.
Yeah, there you go. It has to be Gabriel. But anyways, my two are being such jokesters about it. It's pretty
I
funny.
love it. They make us laugh all the time. Well, we are going to have to end this live. Thank you, everyone, for being here with us.
Thank you.
So much
Drive
love
Love
to
you all.
safe. Thank you, Sheri.
Oh,
Thank
you are
you.
so welcome. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thanks, Jean and Christina, for being here today.